The stop no one expected. It was just past 4 p.m. on a quiet stretch of highway in Charlotte, North Carolina. Special Agent Camille Rivers had just finished a long day of debriefing with local law enforcement on a federal case. As one of the top-ranking black women in the FBI's domestic counterterrorism unit, she was used to being in control. Dressed in a sharp gray suit, with her credentials tucked into her purse, Camille was driving her silver BMW back to her hotel. The sun was dipping low. Traffic was light, and everything seemed routine, until flashing blue lights appeared in her rearview mirror. With a calm sigh, Camille pulled over onto the shoulder. She knew she hadn't broken any laws. Her plates were valid, she wasn't speeding, and her tail lights were functional. Still, she kept her hands on the wheel. The officer approached her side window with an air of arrogance. He was a tall white man, mid-40s, with a buzz cut and mirrored sunglasses that reflected her calm expression. "License and registration," he barked, without a greeting. Camille didn't move. "Certainly, officer," she said evenly. "Can you tell me the reason for the stop?" "You changed lanes without signaling back there," he said, voice clipped. "License and registration." Now, Camille knew she hadn't, but she complied. The assumptions began. The officer took her license and stared at it longer than necessary. Then he looked her up and down. "This your car?" "Yes," Camille replied. "You have a job that pays for this kind of car?" he asked, smirking. Her expression didn't change, but her patience wore thin. "Do you normally question drivers about how they afford their vehicles?" "Just doing my job, ma'am," he said. "Mind stepping out of the car?" "On what legal grounds?" she asked. He bristled. "You want to argue with me? Step out. Now." Camille's training as a federal agent taught her to read body language. This wasn't a traffic stop. This was intimidation. As a second patrol car pulled up behind them, her heart rate rose. Not out of fear, but frustration. She reached calmly into her jacket. "Let me save us both some trouble," she said. The moment of truth. The officer's hand hovered near his weapon. "Keep your hands where I can see them," he snapped. But Camille didn't flinch. She pulled out her black leather wallet, flipped it open, and held it out the window. The gold FBI badge gleamed in the fading sunlight. "Special Agent Camille Rivers," she said clearly. "Federal Bureau of Investigation. ID number 40719. I suggest you step back and call your supervisor." The officer's smirk vanished. He leaned closer, read the badge, and suddenly stepped back, blinking rapidly. You're FBI," he stammered. "That's right," she replied. "And you've just unlawfully escalated a traffic stop. I'll be reporting this entire incident." The second officer, now standing behind the first, looked just as stunned. "Ma'am, we didn't know." That's the problem," Camille interrupted. "You treated me like a criminal before you even knew who I was." Supervisor shows up. 15 minutes later, the officer's supervisor arrived, a seasoned black sergeant who recognized Camille instantly. His expression hardened as he approached. "Agent Rivers, I sincerely apologize," he said. "This should never have happened." "You're right," she said, "and it happens too often." She played a recording from her phone, audio she had discreetly captured of the entire exchange. The mocking tone, the disrespect, the baseless accusations. The sergeant's face grew tense. "He'll be placed on leave pending investigation. I'll file the report myself." Camille looked at the original officer, who was now avoiding eye contact. "I don't need special treatment," she said, "but I expect equal treatment. Every citizen does. If I weren't FBI, how far would this have gone?" No one answered. 5. Aftermath and accountability. By the next week, the incident had reached media outlets. Dashcam and audio evidence leaked online. The video, titled "Cop Mocks Black Woman. Then She Flashes Her FBI Badge," went viral. Public reaction was swift. Civil rights groups demanded systemic reforms in law enforcement. Camille, who had hoped to keep the matter quiet, was invited to speak on a national law enforcement panel about implicit bias and policing culture. During a televised interview, she said, "I didn't flash my badge to show power. I showed it to protect myself. But no one should have to prove their worth to be treated with dignity. We need accountability, not apologies. The officer was suspended without pay and later resigned after multiple past complaints surfaced. His department implemented new mandatory training on racial bias and de-escalation. As for Camille, she went back to her work at the bureau, quiet, focused, and undeterred. She didn't seek fame. She sought change. And sometimes, one moment of clarity in the face of injustice is all it takes to spark a conversation the country can't ignore.